However, despite the initial attraction of not having to find something to wear and getting free food and drink all weekend, we must admit we're feeling a little nervous and apprehensive about doing this tonight. If there's anyone else in the room who is also feeling nervous and apprehensive, it's probably because they've just married Grant.
Okay, before we begin with Grant's character assassination, on behalf of the bridesmaids, I would like to thank Grant for his kind words. I think we can all agree that they do look stunning today, so let's have a round of applause for the bridesmaids.
Of course, they are only eclipsed by Esther, who I think you will all agree looks absolutely jaw-dropping. I'd also like to add that I think she's made a great decision in choosing Grant as her first husband. Please raise your glasses to Grant and Esther.
So, looking around the room, it's amazing how far people are willing to travel for the promise of free food and drink, ourselves included. And in fact, when Grant asked Brian and I if we would assume the role of best men, we were initially excited. However, when we found out the wedding would be held in Spain, in the blazing sun, and we'd be dressed up like Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen, we started having second thoughts. Was it really worth it? Would we still get a normal invite if we declined the best man gig? Would we still qualify for the free food and drink? It was too big a risk to take, so here we are.
But nonetheless, it's a role we've taken very, very seriously in the last 30 seconds.
Okay, Brian. There's more of those to follow, actually. Let's get on with the festivities. Back to you.
Much obliged. Freestyling. So we have both known Grant since secondary school, when on the first day, a fellow student thought they... Oh, I can't read this, excuse me. Sorry, the light's not working that well. A fellow student thought they had introduced himself as Bart, and we proceeded to call him this for most of the first year. So bearing in mind this naming mishap, it's probably worth considering what the name Grant actually means. Unsurprisingly, given his Scottish roots, here we go. Grant is a Scottish surname derived from the French grand, meaning tall or great. Somewhat ironic, I think. It goes on to define that people with this name have a deep inner desire to use their abilities in leadership, would rather focus on large, important issues and delegate the details. I'm not so sure on this character trait either. Indeed, over the last few months, Grant has been rather keen on the minutiae, taking an active role in the stag do planning and undertaking what could only be described as quantity surveying with a spreadsheet, working out the best value alcohol per litre for the wedding. True? No doubt a sign of his Scottish roots shining through, but unfortunately not everyone likes Landrini. However, Grant hasn't always been as well prepared as this next anecdote will testify to.
Okay, so at Henley College, 1998, I think it was. Winter term, second year, we had to do mock exams for our A-levels. So the results playing a part in our projected grades, which are going to go on our UCAS form. Is it remembering? Jogging a little? So for many of us, like Grant, Brian, and myself, got a few of us around the room who were job shy, looking for 3 more years of midweek drinking. It was important to get a reasonable grade so that you can go to university. So I thought it was strange, 1 hour into the exam, it's a 3-hour exam, 1 hour in, Grant is sitting a few desks diagonally in front of me. He's got his head in his exam paper on his desk. Now, naturally, being a good friend, I thought, well, perhaps he's having a power nap. And to be honest, I didn't really take much notice because I had an exam to do. So another hour passed. Looking around the room for inspiration, I noticed he's still there. Similar position to before, head down in his paper, sort of rubbing his face a little bit, sniffing. You know, as you do. Again, being a good friend, as I am, I just laughed to myself a little bit. You know, clearly his geography exam got the better of him. And let him get on with his unorthodox exam technique. So the exam eventually ends, so after 3 hours. And as is normally, invigilators walk up and down the rows to collect everybody's exam papers in. However, Grant's still there, head on his desk, clutching his exam paper and not giving it up for anyone. So obviously, there's quite a lot of people in this exam hall. And lots of people have witnessed this. So outside the exam hall, whatever sort of sympathy, I use that in loose terms, we might have had for him, had been replaced by intense intrigue as to, you know, what's he up to? Because clearly, if there's no exam paper to mark, he's going to get a 0, and he won't be going to uni. Now, it turns out, instead of providing the definition of an oxbow lake,
microphone's gone. Or polycentric urban agglomeration, as this geography paper would have asked. That's pretty tricky.
Back on. Okay. Good. So it turns out, instead of providing the definition of an oxbow lake, or polycentric urban agglomeration, as his geography paper had obviously asked him, because that's what all geography exams ask, and it's quite tricky to say after 6 points. I think I got away with it. For the past 3 hours, Grant had actually been sitting a biology practical of his own design, using his sleeves, his hands, his face, his hair, the desk, and ultimately his exam paper as a makeshift tissue. Yes, that's right, people. Grant emerged from the exam hall a bogeyman. Good job the speeches are after dinner. I actually think he managed to sweet talk his way into retaking the exam, and with the help of Kleenex balsam, he got one of the best grades in the year. So I brought a little present for you tonight, Grant.
As some of you will have noticed by the state of the tablecloth there, Grant has a rather unorthodox way of calorie control. However, having ordered and paid for the suits, it would appear his fork-to-mouth success is